Welcome back to
From 10 in my
Gerg,
head.
live and
Nicely done,
uncensored. God damn it. God damn it. What is it with me, Charlie, LD, and Cyborg Matt. Now there's no stream delay, so they can all flame me in real time. It's really wonderful, to be honest. And again, right before we cut off, there is a Reddit thread if you guys want to ask questions in there. Maybe we'll do a Q&A as well, now that Charlie's just complaining about it. And
by the way, I just want to take a moment to shout out K-pop.
Oh my god, dude.
Boy.
The Brian cooking
nice
is real.
steak. Yeah, this is. Can we get a good view of this? Yeah,
good shot of that.
All right.
Thank you, Brian.
While we're doing this, I want to give a moment to shout out Esports Seinfeld. They're doing an AMA on our esports. Here's the link again.
Shout out to Seinfeld.
I have to say that Twitter account's really the funniest thing was right when all the player union nonsense, like everyone started complaining about it, and the perfect tweet to sum the whole problem of 140 characters was just, it was great. It was beautiful, honestly. And all right, well, there is also a quick.
My wife.
Yeah, Connor. What?
Whatever. There's
also a list of topics on the Reddit thread. I mean, subject to change, subject to not be covered, etc., etc. But this is what I wrote down.
Did you actually copy that document into a Reddit thread?
No, I copied the text in it.
Oh my god, he did. He copied the document into the Reddit.
Is that a problem?
Well, it says Charlie China rant like right there in the middle.
You're such an idiot, Greg.
I'm not going on a China rant. What the fuck is that?
All right, I'll just put Charlie rant. I was just reserving some time there for what I assume was going to be Charlie to complain about things.
And look at your fucking overlays. There's like a big black bar over all our mouths.
That's a name. Okay, that's why I told you to move your webcam.
Why don't you just fucking move that shit down? Stupid.
All right, well, let's move into the show a little bit. Charlie, you just came back from DAC where somehow your team won first place.
What is somebody else right now? I don't want to talk to you right now.
LD, you just finished casting DAC, and it had its ups, it had its downs, it had its ridiculous all nights and all mornings.
I'm not your backup option here, Greg. You don't get to play me like that, homie.
Matt,
Greg,
how was DAC for you? I'm just getting fucking shafted here.
I know, Greg. How was DAC for you?
It was terrible. I only watched like 5 games, probably because it was on in the middle of the night. So I watched more than 5 games.
Is that a problem with
watch,
DAC, Greg? Should China operate on America time zones for your personal convenience?
I did watch.
Is that where we're taking the show?
I have to say, I did watch almost all of the EG games. That's pretty much where that's where I draw the dedication line, and that's about it. So I don't know. All right, are you? Yeah, you can't even complain. I watched pretty much all the EG games. Honestly, I thought once the event got rolling, it was pretty good. Thought the coverage was really good. I can't even make fun of you for it because I actually liked it. And Charlie, seriously, how was the event for you? I've heard some conflicting reports, and some of your players may have changed their opinion after winning $1 million.
Okay. For the record, I don't think the fact that Peter's blog, video blog, the fact that it was so positive, or so much more positive than people expected, had that much to do with the fact that he won. I think the reason there was more positive spin on it was because at that time when he was making that blog, he was talking about like the things that were preeminent in his mind were things like invites and the way the sort of bigger structure of tournaments. Those were the things that were at the forefront of his minds, and those were the things that DAC sort of did well, I guess. I will say that during the event, we as a team were not that pleased with the way the tournament was run. I think Envy's post was actually a fair look into the tournament as a whole, and Matt can speak on this more as well.
The Yelp review.
Yeah. So there were positives.
The Yelp review of DAC.
I feel like Envy's latest blog is like if you want to get like Yelp reviews on all the tournaments, like just subscribe and like, and I'll give you my thoughts on the next event I attend.
Am I too low?
No,
you're perfect.
You're fine, dude.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it's on me. I'll turn all of you up a little bit. How about that?
Okay. So we'll go through some of the positives. Like, I will say that there were a lot of staff. I will not say that all of the staff were like this, but there were a fair amount of staff that tried really hard. They did try really hard, and they were very concerned with the outcome of the tournament, and how it was run, and how players were treated. There were a lot of people like that, but not everybody was like that.
You're the Matt Snickers.
He's muted. How is he snickering?
Okay, whatever.
He was actually muted. It's not possible.
Right? You're so stupid. Holy shit. But despite those people that tried, it felt like people going, like the head admins and a lot of people in charge going into the tournament they had this idea that we're going to sort of like fly by the seat of our pants and see how it goes as we go along, and as long as it sort of looks good, it'll be okay. I think Hopid made this great analogy where he talks about like the differences in between a lot of the way things are done in China and the way things are done in the US is that in the US you want a nice lawn, you have a nice manicured lawn, you spend time like trimming it, mowing it, watering it, seeding it, stuff like that. And then he said in China, all they do is they paint the pavement.
That's good. I like that. Matt, were your experiences similar?
I mean, kind of similar, yeah. I mean,
you guys were there for longer though. You came early. You boot camped at the Mars TV offices and stuff.
In terms of boot camp, there's only one person. I mean, there's a group of people I can say that made the boot camp really work for us, but it was mainly Malay. Without the help of Malay, we would have not been in near a strong position as we were. You know, we went to DAC. We've kind of nothing over the top prepared, and then used that week of arriving early to come up with our best options to tackle the main event. And with the help of Mali, we were able to actually boot camp at the Mars TV office, and it was it was a really good environment. It was really helpful. The overall problem with DAC is that they put this tournament together in months, not even such a short time for a big tournament. And obviously, it's a first tournament of this scale, so they run into some big issues here and there.
I never really liked that excuse. This is your first tournament of this scale, especially.
I mean, TI1 was pretty fucking rough.
That's so what? Just because somebody else fucked it up before doesn't give you an excuse to fuck it up again. It's like
no, it's not an excuse. It's why it went wrong, basically.
Yeah, and I think
they didn't have the experience, and they didn't leave enough time to put everything together.
I think in the future, like especially with inexperienced organizers, like go hire a consultant.
Yeah, I mean that's one area where they definitely needed some more people there with experience, and I think that's where they're lacking most.
Well, I think that's fair enough. I mean, I feel like we've seen. I think you're right with hiring a consultant, though, Charlie. I mean, there's a lot of people who are extremely experienced in running larger events, so I feel like there's no excuse. To be honest,
I have to just highlight what Matt said. This was all. I don't know if the initial idea was last minute, but the timer they're like, all right,
you had some shit.
The time where it's like, all right, this is crunch time. We got to get shit together. Like we have to send out invites. We need to book travel and accommodations. We need to figure out our what is that?
Charlie's like feeding back for some reason.
We need to figure out, who's going to be broadcasting in other languages, how they're going to be covering the event. Do they come on site? Are they remote? Do we bring in some people to create content from the venue, but then have them do the main show remotely? Do we have everything on site? It was all pretty last minute, and I have no idea why. It's possible. Who knows? Maybe they were waiting for something from Valve. Maybe, Perfect World was trying to choose their Chinese partner for a while, and they only last minute settled with Mars TV, who, from what I understand, ended up kind of running the overall tournament, not just purely casting it in Chinese. So they're kind of the production company to some extent as well. But I mean, just as a case in point, we didn't even know we were covering the event until literally 12 hours before, I think it was the America qualifier started. So this was the day where you went off on me, Greg, because we had a Team Liquid bracket overlay. You made your little salty tweet.
Nice,
you got your Reddit
dude.
thread.
I feel
Hope
good
you're
about
happy.
that. Oh, I'm happy, dude.
Mission
Daily mission accomplished. Easy.
Again, I have no idea why it happened that way. It's entirely possible that they were waiting for approval from somebody else. It seems to me, from my experience dealing with a lot of Chinese tournaments, that they have a lot more hierarchy. There's not like just one person who can just make every call who's also fluent in English and is communicating directly with the foreign teams and the foreign broadcasters and even with Valve, I imagine. It seems like the people who are talking directly with foreign partners are not the decision makers in general. And I think that's quite different from most Western organized events. Even StarLadder, for example, you have someone like Andre who, English isn't his first language, but he's basically fluent. He can have a conversation with anyone. And anything Andre tells me about StarLadder, anything he tells the teams, just his word is his bond. He's very reliable. People trust him as far as like, okay, if you need to be here at this time, you're there at that time, you're good as a team, or you're good as a broadcaster. If he gives you the schedule, that's generally the schedule. And, people make mistakes, but Andre very rarely. So I feel like part of the issue with DIC is that the people who you interface with as a team and especially as a broadcaster are not actually the people in charge in a lot of cases. And I don't have an easy solution because, I don't speak Chinese. So when we interface with Chinese tournaments, we have to go through Chinese, like with ACER, for example, when we want to invite Chinese teams, we have to go through a translator. So of course, in theory, they could say something wrong or not correct. But I feel like it's maybe a time thing where Mars TV they do a lot of other stuff besides this Dota 2 event. And so, how much time are they actually spending on the event? Should they prioritize it more? Absolutely. But it seems like for whatever reason, that's not the case. And it's like, okay, someone else will have the conversation. Then they feed it up the chain. I won't even tell you how many different people we were told us, like, okay, talk to this person. That's your person to go to. And then 2 days later, it's like, no, actually,
that's actually not person. It.
So it's just very confusing as a broadcaster. And I can imagine only the same for the team. So I think a lot of it does come down to how rushed it was. I don't know why it was rushed. Only Perfect World and Mars TV know that. But like Charlie said, I think you're going to be held accountable whether it's your fault or not. It's completely fair to put these people under the gun. And we're the same way for us with our event. If we screw something up, it's our first summit. Doesn't mean we didn't get shit for all this stuff we did wrong. So it's our second summit. Even less margin for error and for excuses. So
yeah.
It's how the events industry works, man. It's people expect a lot at this point. There's a lot of money at stake.
Completely muted, Charlie.
Yeah. Charlie, I think like your mic's actually.
Yeah, muted. I think your mic's actually muted.
Either on the headset or you don't have the right device selected. Maybe you need to rejoin the call.
I think he changed his mic and it got shit. It got fucked
funny
up.
moments. All right, it's back.
Hello.
Oh, God. Is your audio not going through the? Oh my!
I don't know what the fuck is going on right now.
It's okay, Charlie.
It's okay, Charlie. It sounds like the audio is not. Oh my God, going through your headphones. Charlie, the technology person, right here.
All right, to keep the conversation going.
Continue.
Testing. Okay, wait. Is this better?
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean you're lagged as fuck though.
What the fuck is going on? Is this okay?
Toggle your webcam, and then I think we'll be good to go. Bottom left, there's a video button. Just wait, say something.
Test.
All right,
test.
You're good. Matt, continue.
All right, I'm good.
Right. There was one situation that I saw BTS getting mixed up in, which was like all of a sudden all the broadcasters were getting booted from the lobby, and then the game would launch. And I can't remember which game it was, but I remember like a huge argument in the production room going, "Why the fuck did you just kick the BTS guys?" And then I saw Vlad going crazy on Twitter. So I don't know the backstory to that one, but I would love to hear that one.
I think that might have been one of Coddle Guy's games. So knowing Dakota, obviously he would be upset, but I don't know if he would like throw a shit fit publicly.
He wouldn't be
in general, there were a couple of issues. It wasn't all on Mars TV. There were a couple of games where everyone was in the lobby, ready to go. you launch the lobby, and then some people just get disconnected and can't reconnect. Like they don't have the option. You try hitting retry in the console, it doesn't know what server you're talking about. So I mean, it was some, like, I guess Dota 2 bugs, which they happen, and I understand the organizers have a schedule to keep to. So if they remake the lobby, then that's just one more delay. And like for us as remote broadcasters, it's like, just remake the lobby, man. We'll be in there in 20 seconds. We'll just go. But from the organizer point of view, every little like, oh, it's just going to be a minute delay, that can quickly snowball into 5, 10, 50 minutes. So for those, I totally understand. There were also some games where we didn't get the passwords for whatever reason. I think there were a couple of password leaks. I'm not sure where they came from. So they had to change the passwords. And there was one day where the passwords changed, like, I want to say like 3 or 4 times. Like, it's like, there were like 3 games at once, right? So there's like, 6 games in a day, 8 games in a day, whatever the number was. And we must have gotten a new list of passwords after every game for like 3 games straight. I don't know if someone's getting paid off to leak the passwords. I mean, maybe. Forget about Dota 2 Lounge. This is the real threat to our.
Didn't somebody copy and paste one of the passwords into Twitch chat or something?
Possibly. It wasn't us, but I don't know why you.
Isn't other David, like, isn't he some? I heard he put the fucking Skype on the screen. That was this tournament, right?
It might have been, but it wasn't.
I thought God's League. Yeah,
didn't God's League some of the passwords?
Yeah.
That wasn't a game that got delayed or the password.
Oh, okay.
I think it was like a game that had already started. Oh, you know what it was for? It was for the. He did leak the passwords. It was for the 1v1 grand finals. That's for the passwords got leaked. But that was not where the
that was not the issue. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he screwed up. That's what I'm saying though. Like, you can't just blame the organizers for that, but at the same time, there were some Dota 2 issues. There were some leaks that it sounded like came from the Chinese broadcasters, some that came from other languages. These things do happen, but they just add up, right? Like, you're gonna have some shit that no matter how good you plan, how well you plan, something goes wrong. So you really got to cut down on the controllable shit. And
yeah,
like, I feel like password leaks are
like as far as like controllable shit, like the entire tournament, the thing that I think irked me the most was just the lack of proper planning and thinking about how the tournament was going to go as you went along. Like, the first thing was the scheduling, where teams, like, so we would you're supposed to start at 12, and then you go all the way to midnight, which is not the worst, but what made it like really bad was the fact that teams that, like, if you played the earliest match, it's not a guarantee that you're not going to play the latest match. So you could you could be playing the first match, but you could also be playing the last match.
Which is pretty shit. Or like the last match and the first match the next day or something, right?
Yes. That was also a possibility. And it was like, just stuff like that was really bad. Like me,
right,
Envy,
I think that's like a perfect example of something that could be fixed by like an experienced organizer, right? Like, that just wouldn't happen with someone who's done more than one LAN.
I mean, I would say yes for DAC, like just DAC and TI, because they have the teams for such a long period of time. Like, you can figure out the schedule in that way. But I think it is more complicated when you're running like a 2 to 5 day event. Like, ESL had this problem.
Sure, yeah,
that's had that problem.
That's very different. And then the other issue that I particularly got super pissed about was it was in Envy's blog. He said like that thing about coaches, and he said Charlie Yang went crazy. I did go fucking crazy. I gerged super hard that day when it was before the tournament started. It was like the day right before the tournament started. They tell us that coaches. Well, they don't even tell us this. They didn't tell us directly. It was like at the opening meeting thing. So it was like everybody was there. It wasn't just like a meeting with managers or players or whatever. This was just like Hipovic standing at the front saying, "Oh, hey, by the way, coaches are allowed in the drafting room during the group stage matches, and they're allowed to communicate with the players during the draft." And they told us this the day before the tournament starts. And I'm just sitting, like I'm sitting there, right, like amongst this group of like a whole bunch of Chinese people, and I'm like, did I hear this right? And I'm looking around, me, and I'm like,
no one else is
and
reacting.
I'm trying to look at their, I'm trying to see their reactions, and they're all just sitting there with these blank, passive faces, and nobody gets it. And I am like about to fucking explode. I'm like, how is this okay? And so nobody says a goddamn thing.
Hold on.
I go crazy. Like I immediately go to Molly. And then at which he took me to Anderson, and then I'm like, how is this okay? Like this, you guys told us just now there was no time to prepare for this. Not everybody has a coach here. That is a huge advantage and is like patently unfair for the draft to be like 6 versus 5 rather than 5 versus 5.
Well, because if you guys know, even if you don't have a full-time coach, you could just get some player who's not even there to come and probably assist.
Okay,
yeah, even then, it takes so much time to like build a relationship with a coach, for a coach to develop like an understanding of how a team works. Like you can't just like grab some random schmuck or whoever to do this. And so like
obviously not.
Like patently unfair rule.
Okay, so I have a question about this. Do you think it's unfair? Hold on. Do you think it's unfair because like, okay, let's say if they'd announced this a month ago, would you still have a problem with this rule?
No, I would still have a problem with this even a month ago because it takes so much longer than that to develop.
Okay, that was my question.
To find somebody like this, if you're gonna like do something like this, you need to announce it, I would say, at least 6 months in advance. This is like something that has never been done in previous tournaments before. It's not done at TI, not done in any other tournaments. There are specific rules actually stating the fact that managers cannot have somebody communicate with players the moment the draft starts. Like, this is like, I got so pissed and talked about it with Anderson, and he did nothing. Like
he was like, did he just not care?
I don't know. I don't know.
My wild speculation. Here's my wild speculation. Did the Chinese teams know about this?
I have no idea. I think so.
It's hard to say because like the Western teams were not given any rule set prior to arriving.
None?
No.
No, we were never given a rule set.
In fact, I will go on record to say that there was not a rule set in existence during the tournament. Right.
So I went to Anderson. With this. He gave me this bullshit passive face. Didn't really say anything. Talked to Molly about it, and he said, and I asked him, whatever. That actually honestly doesn't matter. Later, he just told me that he told me. This is another thing that got me super pissed. He told me that if you can get other teams to sort of back you on this, then maybe they'll think about changing the rule. And I'm sitting there thinking, first of all, there is a majority of Asian teams here, plus Secret, that all have a coach that are not going to back me on this because it's in their own self-interest not to. Second of all, whether something is fair or not is not a matter of numbers. It's not a matter of...
That's not how you determine something like that.
You do not leave an administrative decision like this up to
popular vote,
up to the people that are participating in your tournament, because they're not going to vote their conscience. They're going to vote for their own advantage. So I'm sitting there. I got super pissed anyways, but still I got all the Western teams together that didn't have coaches. So I approached C9, Navi, Rave, all the other teams that didn't have coaches, and I said, I'm going to take this back to DAC, and then if you're with me, I'm just going to add your name to a list. And they said, okay. I had a minority of teams went in there and Gerg fairly hard.
Aggressively.
And eventually they said, okay, we're going to change the rule. And then I'm like, okay, this is over. I got it done. And then I would say maybe 12 hours later, they came back to me and they said, actually, we're not going to change the rule. The Chinese teams are unhappy about this. Instead, we're going to put it to a vote later tonight. Yeah. Yeah.
I can imagine
So,
how the next conversation went.
no, I just Gerged again, and then
When
eventually
did they finally like what? So what was the resolution? Did they just like take the rule off? Did they
Yeah,
vote?
they took the rule off. They said no coaches. And
I mean, that's completely fucking ridiculous.
All right, Matt, what do you think? Your team is a coach.
Yeah, your team has a coach, Matt. Let's hear your side of the story.
But nobody knew if they're allowed to use coaches until
Okay, so like
for the event. What do you think?
we went to DAC not expecting to have that much power with our coach. Obviously, when we did hear about that, we had no objections. We have a coach. We want to utilize him. Sure, we had him planned to use him during the draft. It doesn't work like that, but you know, we were happy to go with it. Obviously, I could understand why Charlie and Sinam were upset because it's a big fucking deal. Like, you know, especially when you just turned up and heard that like 12 hours before the tournament's about to start. And you know, it's one of these cases where, again, with experience, DSC would have handled it better and made their own decision. Instead, they pussyfooted around for about 24 hours, going, "No, the rule's gone. Actually, no, the rule's back. No, we're gonna have a vote." And you know, I'd rather just have admins who put their foot down and make a decision without having to go down all this street of, you know, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and you know, everyone's just sitting around waiting. So at the end, we didn't really mind. You know, the only thing we would have liked is maybe, you know, having our coach being able to be allowed to sat in the room, just not saying anything.
I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah,
but but that's hard to enforce too.
But then,
it's not
you
that
know,
hard to enforce.
Well, yeah, I guess if you have like an admin in there.
I mean, every room had an admin anyway, so it would have been fine.
According to Envy, they were asleep. Can you
if we're going down
confirm or deny?
Well, yeah, if your admins are sleeping.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I won't just say you know. At
I
the
mean,
summit,
I didn't personally
I don't-
see any admins sleeping in the rooms. I highly doubt they slept in the rooms like that. But
that's not true. At the summit, Lysander fell asleep.
what I'm saying is, in general,
Gloss over that.
I've never heard about this. That's news to me. But in general,
That's how I found out that he sleeps with his eyes open. I turned around and he's just fucking
Wait,
sleeping. But his
what
eyes
the
are
fuck?
open. It scared the shit out of me because his
I had
eyes
a
like
roommate
go
that
back
did that.
into his head, and I just see the
He's
whites
like,
of
"He's
his
dead."
eyes and
Oh, that's funny.
scared the shit out of me.
I mean, in general, what I was gonna say is we've never had an issue with a coach who's been told he can't talk trying to talk. Like most coaches, I won't say every coach won't cheat if they think they can get away with it, but I think most of these guys are legitimate competitors, whether you're coach or player, and they don't want to win by cheating. They want to win legitimately. If the rule is no talking, they don't talk. So
I mean, and
obviously you need an admin in there to enforce it, but I think that's okay in general.
And if we go down this road, the players never got their phones taken off them or anything like that. So, like, you know, if you're gonna go down this road of, well, maybe he'll start coughing when they, you know, he needs them to listen or, you know, do something. I'm like, you don't even take the mobile phones off him. So, like, what the fuck? Who gives a shit if the coach coughs? Like, if you leave the phones on them, that's even worse than having someone sat in there coughing. But whatever.
Greg, nobody can read this anyway. I don't know why you're like.
Yeah, he's highlighting.
I mean, I can zoom it in. Zoom it in.
Well, yeah.
A little late for that, I
That
guess.
would be a good start.
I wish you guys had told me that. Goddamn Twitch chat. All right, well, I zoomed in. It's readable now.
That shows you how much they care about your production value.
Twitch chat.
Nobody gives a shit, dude.
All right, so
anyway.
some of my other questions about DAC. So I misunderstood why there was a movement of venue, and I definitely went off about that on Toffee's show. But apparently, it was like a Shanghai law. Is that true? There was like a
Yes.
like a
There was
regulation
a
or
chance
something.
stay past 10.
Yeah,
There was a serious situation.
there was like a
New Year's
trample or
Eve-
something.
Yeah, like a lot of people died. You know,
It happened after they had like booked the venue and had already
Yeah,
like
okay.
announced everything.
So you know that's
I
on
remember
me.
it out of their
Like to
control.
publicly retract my. No, I wouldn't actually.
What?
So all right,
What?
Charlie.
Why? What is
Let's
wrong
talk
with
about
you?
let's talk about the chairs, Charlie. Let's talk about the chairs.
This is honestly like the most I wouldn't say the most insignificant
But
thing.
Charlie, you're a
like one
hero.
of
You
those-
put together 10 chairs.
Oh my god. No. Okay. The chairs at the event were shit, so me and Conrad went to IKEA and we got a bunch of chairs.
Wow.
Conrad actually went first before I did. And then I went with him later that night and we actually bought all the chairs there, like all the black chairs in that style at IKEA. So if any other teams wanted to go back and actually buy them, they were all sold out. But yeah.
Wow, you're a scummer.
I don't give
You
a
bought
shit.
them all. What
So the thing that's left out of Chairgate is that you guys gave up using those chairs pretty fucking fast.
Okay, that's not true. Okay, let me explain all of this. Actually, that's not true. That is not true at all. So yeah, me and Conrad, we went to IKEA, bought 10 chairs, went back. We had a really nice like chair date where we took the guys to the LAN cafe before the game started. And then we went back, and me and Connie had a nice date in the hotel room while we built chairs together, and we listened to really, really nice music.
Okay, I don't want to
Yeah.
hear any more about the chairs. I'm sorry I brought it up. Fuck the chairs. And,
Anyways,
all right,
no. The chair story is not done. So, got the chairs, used them around, used them, and like we told the guys it was their own personal chairs, so they would like, they would like. I'm sorry, I'm reading chat.
Oh my God.
Anyways, so they would like take them around themselves. It was their own personal stuff, and then DAC, the DAC admins saw us like
Carting around chairs.
carting around our own chairs, and they were like, what is going on? And they were like, and then later we were just like, well, your chairs are shit, so we bought our own. And then later, I sort of loudly said to my guys after one of the games, like, they asked, why do we have these chairs and all the other teams have shit chairs? And I said loudly to them, I sort of said, well, we were all supposed to have DX racers, but they kind of fucked up, and now we don't have DX racers. So me and Conrad went out ourselves and we bought these chairs just for us. And they said, okay. And then later, I guess DAC overheard, and they got really embarrassed. And then originally they all started like they got DAC racer chairs specifically for each EC9, and then those were just ours. And then the admins would push it around for us.
What
and then,
the fuck?
And then later they got it for the rest of the teams.
Oh my God.
So I will say that like, while they did fuck up, they did try really hard to sort of fix their fuck ups.
That's really nice of them, man.
I mean, for us, we asked about the chairs. We saw that DX Racer was a sponsor from day one, and they said the DX Racer chairs were a bit late. The DX Racer chairs turned up like 24 hours, after the first day. And then we never had an issue with chairs after that. And then even then, some of the players opted to use the normal chairs and not the DX Racer chairs because they don't like armrests. Armrests are actually pretty bad for you.
I was gonna ask.
I feel like Chairgate has been blown the fuck out the wall.
It really has. It really has. It's honestly not that like big of a thing. Like there was so much like, oh my god, you got chairs. You're so godlike.
You're great, man.
It's honestly fucking ridiculous.
You're just the best, Charlie. I don't know what to tell you. So overall, moving forward, how was the venue? I was not there, obviously. Was the venue like full? And just round out sort of the tournament in general.
Yeah, now that we've spent like a solid like 45 minutes just talking about chairs and how shitty your production is, let's just round out the event and move on to the next topic. I agree.
Venue was okay.
Closing arguments, Charlie.
Closing arguments.
Super cold.
What?
Super cold the first day.
Super cold? Like in the venue?
Like in the
China?
venue, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
okay.
Heating
a live event is difficult because the temperature varies a lot based on how many people are there, and that venue was fucking empty on the first day.
One of the issues we had, the booths were fine. The booths had a aircon, so they could be as hot or as cold as you want. But the private booths, basically, we're like, heading towards the main event. They're like, all right, you're gonna have private booths. Media won't harass you. You'll be all safe, secure. You can talk privately in here. And we get there, and how can I continue to describe it? Like, the private booths were basically 4 boards of plaster with a door, with no fucking roof. So everyone was freezing, and whoever was sat next door to you could hear everything you were saying. So we're literally, we get in there, and the players said, "Why are we in a pig pen? What is going on?" And I'm like, "Where's the fucking roof? What's going on?" the private booths were a bit of a disaster. But again, experience is key here. I imagine they thought those would go a bit better, but you know.
All right, and what did you guys think of the format of the actual like main event? Barring the the unfortunate schedule when you do all these qualifiers at once.
I thought the playoffs were fine. I didn't like I think a lot of people have talked about this, but the fact that I don't like the group stage format where there's not that much difference between seeds 1 through 4.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
There's actually a big difference. If you got first seed, you fucked yourself. Because what happened with us getting first seed, we then had to move to the main event schedule. So leading up to this, basically, we're playing the group stage every day. Group matches are played at noon. We've been asking for a schedule for the main event all week. They keep telling us, don't worry, we'll have one soon. You'll be playing at around noon time. So come to the day, literally the day before the main event starts, we're asking about schedule. We still haven't seen anything. Me and Conrad see this piece of paper that was in Chinese, but we could make out like this is a schedule. So I have an app on my phone, which when you pointed at Chinese words translates it. So we went through this whole piece of paper.
Jesus
and translated.
Christ.
When we got to the end, we realized that at 7:45 a.m. you would have to be out of the hotel and in a coach on the way to the main venue. So you got to think everyone's on a sleep schedule where like
7:30.
7:30. 7:30. Oh my god! And as soon as we saw that, we pulled Charlie in, and we're like, "What the fuck? We need to find people right now. What is going on? This can't be. This must be mistranslation." We were trying to find. So it's kind of like an off day. Some of the translators weren't about. So like, we'd been piecing this thing, like through bit by bit using this phone app. Anyway, this was the case. They were like, yeah, you guys need to leave at 7:30. Like, what's wrong with that? And we're like, you told us that these matches would be carrying on at noon at the main event. What is this? This is insane. We will have to be like awake at 5, 6 a.m.
Have breakfast, take a shower, get all your gear
Get
together.
ready, yeah.
And you have to have.
Don't forget, this is about 16 hours before we're due to leave for the main event. And anyway, so long story short, we have a pretty big discussion around this.
We Gerged.
We
collectively.
Like, Western Gerg was going on right there. And we managed to push back the leave time by like an hour and a half or something.
It's like an hour.
That's pretty good.
Okay, I will just jump in and say, from the event organizer perspective, this can be taken to the point of absurdity, where we at the Summit 1, we had some of the players say, we don't want to have to play a match before like 11 a.m. or noon. It's like, well, you can't run an event that has even a decent number of games.
Okay, that's not even the same thing. That's not even the same thing.
I'm just saying.
They asked us to be there like 2 hours before we needed to.
That's fine. I'm just also saying that this can be taken to the point of absurdity, and plenty of players have done it before. So I agree with you. The schedule should have been delivered far in advance.
This was a big issue because they'd been telling us one thing, and then we were presented something very different. When the you'll remember, this information is still in Chinese. No Western teams have been given a translation.
Yes, I completely agree. The situation was totally fucked. I'm just saying that sometimes it is taken too far the other direction. This is not one of those times.
So anyway, the full translation was given to us after midnight. So you got to remember that's about 8 hours away from the main event first matches starting.
Good.
That is, in fact, the schedule went out and some teams were sleeping. So some teams who were supposed to be at the opening ceremony didn't even turn up because they didn't have any idea what was going on. It was a real big fuck up.
Sounds like there was a lot of real big fuck ups.
But they had JJ Lin.
Being first in the group meant we had to play the first match of every day, which meant we had to be on the first bus or else you're fucked. So that big of a shift in sleeping pattern, we were just knackered because the days were super long.
Knackered.
It was not good. It was we would have took any position in the top 4 except first place. Trust me, it backfired big time.
That's unfortunate, honestly. But all right, so lots of little fuck ups. Overall, would you go back to DAC, Charlie?
That's a good question.
Are you asking if we regret going?
I mean, you won $1 million. You definitely don't regret going.
I mean, even if we didn't,
let's say knowing exactly how the event was going to be run, not knowing
their
placing.
No, we would have gone again. I mean, the fact of the matter is that you don't turn down a prize pool like that. You don't turn down an opportunity like that. You don't turn down a stage like that. It's especially like when you're a new team, you have something to prove.
Actually, I want to talk about that a little bit later. Matt, what do you think? Same question.
Yeah, we will go back. It's probably the only tournament we will go to China for, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, agreed.
Just because of the sheer prize pool?
Not because of the sheer prize pool, because of just how they are on track to do something really good. Like they did do a good tournament, regardless of all these fuck ups. They did do a good tournament.
I mean, it sounds like most of the fuck ups could easily be fixed.
Yeah,
there was nothing that was like completely.
And I would say this for every other tournament organizer out there that, if you have the means and you have the time, I would highly recommend doing a day one complete run through of a tournament. Get 10 of your staff, play a mock tournament for that day, and just pretend that those 10 staff pretending to be players, just have them be like the whiniest players ever, and just see what happens, see what issues come up, and test everything, and then you'll see what comes up during the first day. Like, if you have the means, you should absolutely do that. Absolutely do that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it makes sense.
Don't forget, this is the Gerg show. We are going to pick out the strong negatives. It was still a good tournament. They still did a good job. They still were much better than any other Chinese tournament that's been ran.
Well, yeah, I mean, the bar is set so low for Chinese tournaments. It seems like that if you don't completely fuck up, then you're in okay shape.
From a viewer experience point of view, it was a legitimately good event. Like, we didn't have
honestly,
the
I
biggest,
thought
the biggest issue during the main event for the English stream, at least, was that we didn't have audio for the stage until the end of the last day, where the Chinese stream happened not to lag for us, so we were able to restream that directly. Like, we had a direct feed on Twitch, which worked fine up just for video, but didn't have audio. But if that's your biggest complaint for an event in China, that's a pretty good event. They did a good job overall.
Well, one thing I will say is that I am so glad BTS didn't come to the main event.
Oh yeah, that was actually a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I think it would have been a fucking disaster if you guys were there. There was like no room for you guys production-wise. So many things would have went wrong. You would have had a lot of issues with the firewall. I really, like, honestly, I know you got a lot of flack for this, but I think you guys did the right decision. You know.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Our decision was kind of made for us by just visa issues, but even if it wasn't, I was pushing for us not to go because there were way too many things that clearly weren't put together. We were clearly an afterthought. I mean, our overall DAC story was we were told 12 hours before the event that we were going to be the English broadcasters. We had been talking to these guys for a couple of weeks at least, and I think we had known about the event for a couple of months. Then we were told in the middle of the online stage, okay, you're going to be the English broadcasters. All non-Chinese casters will be remote. Then that was updated to you'll be on site. We'll be handling your production. You can send 2 casters. So, I mean, 2 casters for Mini TI, not
that
really.
Sounds fucking awful.
I mean, yeah, Valat did it at TI2, and the guy's a fucking legend as a commentator, but Jesus Christ.
Valat also nearly died at TI2, so, like, it's not...
And I will also say the English community is either more particular or just has a better forum to vent their particularity about what they want out of their commentary.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And their broadcast. So anyway, it eventually morphed into, okay, we'll do your production. You guys come on site. And then from there was talks of us maybe doing our own production. So now we're thinking, how do we get our gear to China? You know, how many people can we send for production and casters? And I mean, it was basically just them trying to figure out what made the most sense. And unfortunately, they just hadn't done it that far in advance. And then finally, we had an agreement. So then we applied for visas. It's very last minute. You have to wait for visa letters. You have to have a business license from Perfect World. And it's totally different, dude. We had Andrew go to the LA embassy. Everything was fine. Cinderin goes to, I forget where, somewhere in Germany. Complete nightmare. They're like, this is the wrong visa. You need 30 days. The Chinese government has to approve it first. it's like, are we even speaking the same language? Are there two different Chinas, and Cinderen's going to one, and Ziore's going to the other? So it didn't end up working out from a visa point of view. But I have to say, if you're changing that much that last minute, shit is gonna go haywire.
Yeah, I mean, shit's not gonna work if you change all that stuff. Like,
right, that's the tip of the iceberg, right?
Event.
Like, yeah, this is how teams look at events. If you're like can't even tell them where the event is or like what the dates are for the finals, you better believe that the organizer isn't going to be trusted when they say like what the prize pool is, what the distribution's going to be, how much travel support there is. I mean, teams come into it at this point, and I think very fairly so, with the like prove that you're not completely incompetent attitude, especially if you're a Chinese organizer talking to Western teams. So. I mean, we don't quite have that attitude as a broadcaster because there's a lot you can do remotely that basically requires that the game's on a ticket. But
all right,
when you go on site, it's
all right.
First of all, I just have one thing to say. I just have one thing to say real quick. Why do you choose to start Gerg live during Canada?
Can I mute you? Thank fucking God. I can mute him. Yeah, he's
so that
fucking
Mott
muted.
cannot join. Why do you hate Mott?
Oh my God.
Was it because he banned Charlie from his chat yesterday? Is Mott getting too big for high ground TV and you're trying to push him out of the organization? Greg, defend yourself.
First it was Cottle Guy, now it's Mao.
Oh my God. Sorry. Mott saw the fucking fat stacks of the BTS money. David just makes it rain on the Cottle Guy, and Mott's just like, man, I need some of that. And you all go fuck yourselves. Charlie, go drive away in your goddamn Ferrari, you piece of shit.
I don't have a Ferrari.
Greg, you see that? That's
I drive a Hyundai.
Oh my God.
That right there, my friend, that's a $5.
That's a $5. That's more cash than I've got with me.
I've even got some. I've got a couple of $5s in here and a few singletons as well. You
Holy
see it,
shit,
Greg?
That's sweet money.
That's some BTS money right there, baby.
All right, so my last question.
You're such a dumb.
Can you shut the fuck up?
Such a fucking.
Okay, my last question: local lobbies. Why weren't they used? And is there a way to remote into Dota TV from the US? Matt,
you take
Matt,
this.
let's hear it, Matt. Here we go. This is it.
I am fucking sick of people saying local lobbies do not work on Dota TV. They were specifically made to work on Dota TV. We have no excuse to not use fucking local lobbies now. I had this argument at DAC. I nearly fucking killed someone over it.
Okay,
right.
So if they'd done a local lobby, could BTS join the lobby?
No, that's the only issue.
Okay, that's
Matt,
a pretty big issue.
Out of curiosity, Matt, do you have any? I don't actually know the answer to this. Do you have any idea what the amount of money spent by say Western, people from the US or just from Western Europe and the US, or even just anyone who's not from China or Korea was versus China? Because I will say for the summit too, I think 80 to 90, I think 90% plus of just total compendium purchases. I don't know for Treasure, but I assume it's probably fairly similar. Maybe not quite as extreme. Was all people who are not from China. So I imagine it's a bit different for DAC, but can it really be that different? Do you think it's 1090? That is an audience that you can't just blow off because they are supporting.
A lot of us were in the situation where we thought China was actually buying a ton of tickets, and when it comes to normal tournaments, they don't seem to be doing that. But for internationals and DACs, they're buying a fair amount of tickets. Yeah.
Okay. I would also say I don't even think it matters if it's 100% people from America. It should be whatever's best for the event, because ultimately,
Valve is going to give us a breakdown sometime this century. We literally have to wait on the tools from Valve. I mean, we just got the workshop tools for seeing how many items we actually sell. That's the first step. We're almost there, so give it another year or two, and we might know the breakdown.
Are we even gonna be a game in that time?
Wow, so fucking negative, dude.
Holy shit.
Jesus
so LD
Christ.
CSGO caster confirmed, or is it Hearthstone? I'm not sure. Oh wait, no, Toby CSGO.
Yeah, Toby CSGO.
No, David CSGO too. That's where he got his beginnings.
All right, back to my original
1.6, dude. Come on.
All right, back. Have you played Go? Dude, Go sick. All right, continue.
So with the local lobbies, right?
Good.
The thing you lose, obviously, is your casters in the lobby if they're not on the venue. But the Great Firewall is a bitch, and you cannot do Dota TV. You can't do Western Dota TV on Chinese servers. It doesn't work. The microphones, it's just all broken audio. It's unwatchable.
Dude, it's a slideshow.
Yeah, so you're
actually, Actually, I don't think that's true. I think they've made some big changes to how it works, and it's not every game's perfect, but it is.
I don't know. We were watching from the event, and they were streaming for the Dota TV. Every game was a slideshow.
The other issue is Perfect World was not ready to handle that much Dota TV traffic. We were sat there in China at the venue, and Dota TV did not work. Like, it was laggy as shit. It just didn't, it was unwatchable. So if it doesn't even work in their own country, what good is it going to be like thousands of miles away?
I don't know. I did not like exhaustively watch Dota TV during the event, but whenever we like opened it up or just were watching it at the house, it was normally that like the video quality was fine like 9 times out of 10. And the audio, I would say, was like either completely fine or pretty shit. And I would say completely fine was over half the time. So I think it's maybe because you're watching from within China, some parts of it are actually worse. I mean, it wouldn't be shocking. The general networking issues, it seems.
It all comes down to the fact that the players were having their experiences hindered. Like, they were suffering. There was, like, some fights in the game went certain ways because of the servers not performing right. When the players can't even perform properly, they can't even play properly, and it's affecting an outcome of a game, how can you not fall back on a local lobby?
No, I agree. I'm just saying I slightly disagree that the English casters like should be completely dismissed from the viewer point of view.
Well, it was very different. A tournament of this scale, they shouldn't have had any issues anyway.
If I had to choose, I would absolutely choose local lobbies. Like, if there's ever a question of the integrity of the game,
the one that sticks in my mind over recent is D2L. Like, D2L could have easily gone to local lobbies and should have gone to local lobbies.
D2L was a work of art from start to end, though. You know, Matt? They didn't want to fuck that up with local lobbies.
I mean, that's where local lobbies are.
I'm kidding. D2L is a fucking disaster.
It was bad.
I
just want to say, Fear Darkness is in chat. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Fear, old man. Have a shot of whiskey.
So here's my
chase it with some water.
This is God.
Oh Jesus!
Oh Jesus!
Let's not talk about this.
Maybe a few shots of whiskey.
My only question about this, which I actually have no idea, is it possible to set up a VPN from the US to China to get the casters into the lobby?
Yeah, but these days it's not going to do much. Like, before it would do.
So you pretend that you're on the network at.
I mean, forget about China. What about like Starladder? Is it possible?
Anything really? I mean, is that a possible? Is that a thing that you can do?
In theory, yes. It all depends. It's all UDP traffic for the lobby discovery. It hasn't been tested. Someone has to test it. I don't have time to test it.
Well, man, that sounds like your job, dude.
No. It's not his job.
I know it's not your job, but you know, Matt, if no one else is gonna do it, you can do it. You can be the guy. All right, so
back to my original point.
Oh, you're still going? All right.
Local lobbies do work over Dota TV. That's what you need to keep in mind.
If the casters are there, it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a big if.
But this.
But the point is, you have to choose. Like, do you have a smooth event with no Dota TV audio for some audiences, or do you have a very subpar event with Dota TV audio of questionable quality for all audiences? I mean, it's a pretty clear choice.
I mean, when you're in a position like D2L, let's say 1% of your ticket purchases are from China. It's running during primetime America. It's like fucking 4 a.m. in China. All your casters are on site.
Okay, D2L is so... That was...
I'm using it as an example.
I know, but that was like
incompetence. It was really bad. We probably should have switched to local lobbies. It was like the internet was unreal.
That's the most
really bad.
Example
Shit.
But yeah, we can move on.
Shit. Okay.
I mean, Matt, the one big issue with local lobby, which we encountered during the summit too, is that there's no save state. So for whatever reason,
there is a save state, but if it's a SAB power PC that just goes.
Oh, so do they have them? Because we didn't get any. Okay.
But the problem is the system just blew itself up. So like,
it crashed. It restarted.
But still,
it actually exploded. There wasn't like a small fireball in the middle.
Oh my god!
It just shut down.
Smoke just shooting up from the computer.
That's the kind of situation it put us in. Like.
Yeah.
Charlie, if you keep typing, I'm gonna fucking mute you.
Jesus.
Oh, go kill yourself.
Can you just mute your microphone? I mean,
okay.
Too much
all right. I think that's that about closes in my questions about DAC. Does anyone else have anything they want to get in for you?
Can we take 5 so I can just cool off from all this?
Are you fucking serious?
Smashing? Yeah, dude. You can run some ads. I mean, make your sweet Sweet money.
Oh my god. All right, we're gonna take a 5-minute break so LD
Are you
can go
serious?
get some alcohol.
We're taking a break? What the fuck?
I don't know. Apparently, LD's
You're taking a break, dude. You're like writing a love letter
Yeah,
to your
fucking
mom.
yeah. Just go start
What?
some copy
What's
paste.
going on
Why
over
don't
there?
you get silent keys? What keyboard are you using? Can't you get the fucking black widow silent keys now, whatever?
No, I'm not using a Razer keyboard. I'm using a QPad one.
Oh my god.
I like the fucking noise. You know what? Fuck.
All right,
Fuck
we're definitely going to break.
I can't wait until he shuts down his computer by accident. I mean, you guys can continue. I'm gonna step away for 5 minutes.
All right, well, we'll have a
wash
quick.
my face.
Oh my god! All right, we're gonna be back in 5 minutes, and we've got a couple more topics to go
See,
through.
he wants to run the ad break. He's like, oh no,
Yeah, I know. He wants
It's
to.
too late
You're
now.
podcasting to 700 people. What the fuck?
I don't care
You
about.
me?
I won't even run.
Leave
I'm
that.
not gonna run
Just
a
leave it
fucking
on.
ad.
Just go take a fucking break, you pussy.
Don't worry, guys. It's like it's February. It's like the worst ad revenue month of the year. But don't worry, guys.
Greg's gonna make like 50 cents.
Oh my god! I'm not even gonna run an ad. What if I want to go get a beer? Can I just go get a beer?
Like, I will just give you $5, like, not to run an ad. That's like, would you even make $5 in February?
No.
No way, dude.
Fuck off. I'm not giving you $5.
Wait, so are we taking a break or are we not taking a break?
No, just leave it on. If you want to take a break because you need to like clean out your vagina, go.
So me and LD are just gonna leave, and you two are just gonna hold
Just
down
come
the
back when
fucking
you're
stream.
ready. Me and Matt will shoot
mean,
the shit or
like-
something. I don't know. I'll answer questions in chat.
Oh my
Fuck. You have fucking viewers here. It's better than you sitting here running ads.
I'm not
Why do I
running
care
ads.
more
What
about
the
your
fuck
stupid
is wrong
fucking
with
show
you?
than you do? Holy shit!
You know what? We're gonna be back in a minute and 30 seconds. I can't even deal with this now.
You better not run a fucking ad.
We are back. Gerg live and uncensored, unfortunately. And I'm WhatIsHip. Charlie, LD, and Cyborg Matt all joining me post break. How was your break? How was your break, LD? Was it nice?
I composed myself. I was losing it a little bit at the end there, man. Whew. I like how that was the most tense moment of the entire show. Was
do we go to a break or not?
I casually threw out the idea of like, why don't we take like a minute break or something? It's like a break.
How dare you? All right. Well, let's. We just talked about DAC. Let's talk about some other stuff. One thing I did want to talk about, which is vaguely related to DAC. Peter released that blog, whatever, about DAC, and honestly more about tournament organization than it was about DAC. See, I was vaguely about DAC, but
we're not talking about DAC. You want to talk about the
I want to talk about.
Right.
I want to talk about.
Holy shit!
Okay, there's 3 things that he talked about that I want to talk about. 1, relying on the ticket more. 2, having less qualifiers. 3, having bigger prize pools with less tournaments. This is something we talked about a lot.
Why didn't you write those in your document?
I did, you fuck. They're right at the bottom.
Why
Try
would we go
scrolling
to the
down.
bottom?
Why are you?
Because this is related. Are you really? God. All right.
I'm just kidding.
God fucking damn it.
You did
all right, so let's take these point by point, and Charlie.
Okay, can I start? Can I start?
Yes,
this off?
You can definitely start.
The tickets are not selling that much. Like they used to sell really well. Look at some of the old Star Ladder seasons. The tickets were really valuable. They made a lot of money, really successful because it's like, oh, you get all your favorite teams just for Europe. That was great. Then they expanded to other regions. I think it was Star Ladder season 9. Everyone loved that. Like the tournament was hugely supported. And I think they had a compendium starting in season 10, Matt, was it? Or maybe they had one for 9, but the tickets actually don't have as much value as what I think they should. Like, I think people should really want to watch these teams in Dota TV so they can see, PPD first person or RTZ or, YYF if he wasn't retired. I mean, whoever, your favorite player, right? You want to watch them first person, learn from them, have full 1080p, 5 billion FPS, because that's apparently all anyone cares about now. It should be a very valuable experience, right? It should have value, but it doesn't really. Like, what's selling is the hat. So
yes,
and that I think it's weird because obviously people care about these teams, right? They tune in a lot more when like Secret, EG, Cloud9, whoever are playing, right? But the problem is, I think it really goes back to like you compare your Dota TV experience to Twitch. And unless the Twitch stream is god awful, what is the value in Dota TV? The audio is normally worse. I mean, part of that maybe is something Valve can fix. Part of it is that broadcasters don't set it up properly. And part of it, I think, is it's not particularly easy to just configure it correctly. And it's a little bit finicky. But the audio is not that great. On top of that, the stuff that adds to your experience from Dota TV, like even like being able to toggle your own stats, there's a website for that now. You don't even need to have a ticket to do that, right? So, I don't know. I feel like there's not enough value in Dota TV, in the tickets in general. There are not enough ways to directly support players and teams. And so there's like this weird, like, okay, have like your favorite player set, and you can like support the player, but then there's also this workshop creator who needs to be supported. And it's cool, the idea that they work together, and some workshop creators love it and work together well with teams, but for everyone who does, there's another who's just thinking, well, I could just do an item on my own. Or even if it does work, it's like there should be value in being able to just watch a player in-game directly. People subscribe to Twitch streams. They get emoticons. Maybe if it's a really nice streamer, they can get like a lesson, or they can play in a sub in-house. A lot of the times people just sub because they want to support someone. Why can't you just subscribe to a player in-game? Why can't you get access to all of their replays through the game? Or if not to all of the replays, then just to lessons if you subscribe or pay a certain amount. Or like, someone who wants to can make a tutorial series. Doesn't just have to be a player, it can be Purge for newer players. And there's some value given through the game that people can spend money on to directly support these people and to just get something in return. So anyway, tickets are not selling that much. What's really selling is hats. And I think Valve, it's very difficult for them because of Twitch, but they need to find a way to make the tickets more valuable. They need to find a way to make the Dota TV experience better, which I will say they have made a lot of strides. Watching Chinese tournaments is a lot better than it used to be.
Yeah, it like works now. Wow.
Yeah, it actually.
Wow.
Okay, it's Greg. That's a lot more difficult than what
I know. Making. I'm sure it is, but still, the fact is
Greg's
that you're
celebrating. Greg's stupid point aside.
That is like one of the hardest problems to solve when it comes to networking. Like, There is a reason why China is behind that huge firewall and
Right. So Gerg's about something he has no idea about again.
And so, I mean, the last thing is like, that said, I think Peter's right that tournament organizers need to be smarter about this. Okay, maybe the system is, you think it should change or whatever, but it's not that hard if you're running a good event to have a decent cosmetics bundle. Why does ESL have just a singleton razor set for a $70,000 tournament? And Dota Pit has an $80,000.
That's MLG.
No, that's MLG.
MLG, sorry. MLG.
ESL didn't have cosmetics till the day the tournament started.
Sorry, excuse me. But
trash can.
But and there could be complicating factors that I don't understand. But that's just an example,
No,
right?
there's
I'm not picking on MLG in particular. The point is more like, obviously this is important to the players. Maybe part of it, some organizers aren't listening. There could be sometimes where like you have a deal with the workshop creator, and then they, Valve tells them they want to add the item directly to the game, so the workshop creators are like, forget about this tournament. Which, I mean, goes back to my point of the ticket needs to be more valuable because that's good for the organizers and the teams, but it's not. It has the value it does right now. So I don't know. I think part of it's organizers not realizing what matters in the scene. Part of it is just limitations of the system, and then part of it is people not listening at all. I don't know.
Addressing his point directly, where organizers rely on the ticket more. The fact of the matter is that once you get done contributing to the prize pool, Valve's, what Valve takes, and paying the artists, there's not that much to rely on. It's literally scraps. I don't understand how Peter can think that you can rely on the ticket more when the ticket system is all sorts of fucked up because the only reason that people buy it is for hats.
I mean, I'm surprised Peter said this because what happens if you take hats away from tournaments? The entire scene would crash.
Yeah, it'd be
Trust
fucked.
me.
Well, right now it would.
Yeah.
I would hope it gets to a place where the hats are like a part of the puzzle, or maybe there's something.
We're all hoping that, but it's a big fucking task, and this task is in the hands of Valve and Valve alone. It's a big ask.
I mean, cosmetics are obviously extremely powerful for tournaments. I mean, Dota Pit's perfect example. The last summit was a good example as well, and Captain's Mode.
What's interesting to me is I think a lot of players have this idea that they're being milked for games, which I think some tournaments have definitely done in the past. That said, that having extra games with teams isn't really selling tickets right now.
Yeah,
in fact, it has hardly any value.
Yeah, the argument that the reason that there's extra games is because of the ticket is completely invalid. It's because of sponsors. And that is a completely valid point. Because sponsors want more games.
I mean, it used to sell more tickets.
To some point.
It used to sell some more tickets, maybe, because people were like, oh, this only has 30 games. This has 100.
Matt is right. It used to sell more tickets. But the point is now, even if it sells a little bit more, because let's say you get 20 EG games instead of 10, it doesn't sell double the tickets because you've doubled the games.
It's not worth it.
It's hugely diminishing returns.
Exactly.
The real value is just in having a better cosmetics bundle. And I mean, on the one hand, it bothers me that that's the case. And it also just frustrates me that, as an organizer, you'd ideally love to just have, no online tournament, be as appealing as possible to the players, but you do have to balance it with being fair to teams and giving them a qualifier and not just creating this rich get richer dynamic in the scene, which I think at a certain point when you have too many invites is exactly what happens. So I view, going on to the next topic, I view less qualifiers as good in general, but it is a slippery slope.
Fair enough.
Speaking of selling tickets, the one thing that I think should go are fucking stretch goals. And
I completely agree.
Stretch goals, 1v1 tournaments, stupid invoker custom maps, all-star maps. Get the fuck out.
So if DSC had it their way, we would have half of Team Secret would have played that custom RPG match right before our series on the right before our semi-final series. I'm that is absurd. A multi-million-dollar tournament, and you want us to go play some fucking RPG match? Are you serious? Really?
I mean, the thing is,
goals are being phased out anyway. Any organizer who's smart is phasing them out anyway.
Well, I mean, some of it does not completely come down to the organizer, though. The reason that Dota Pit has stretch goals is not because of the organizer; it's because the artists wanted stretch goals.
I mean, artists don't realize that they're still playing catch up with this kind of situation.
But see, this goes back to my original point.
The whole system's flawed anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
from an artist point of view, you're giving up some of your value, right? When you give up a % of the item, which is the same item if it's with a tournament or a loan, to be a part of a bundle or a chest. So in exchange, what you'd like for that is for the organizer to do as much as they can to make their contribution as valuable as possible. So, I mean, not that every workshop creator even does this, but it wouldn't be ridiculous if they're like, you should have an all-stars match, and you should make sure these teams play it. I'm only going to accept your tournament if Navi's in it. Especially when they were a consistently strong team and had universal love from CIS as well as all of the English-speaking community. It's understandable, but it's part of the dynamic, right? Where like
all stars is the furthest you go. Anything else is just ridiculous.
Like, all right, let me ask you guys then. Would you want us to do a Summit 3 All-Stars match?
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, well,
okay, I have a question. What if the winning team got $4,000 and the losing team got $1,000?
I mean, that's up to the players then.
That's great. That's $200 for an hour. If that extra hour gets you one more place in a decent tournament,
the Summit All-Stars match had $1,000 prize per player.
Yeah.
On the winning team. That's good shit. They love that. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, like, if you want to pay somebody to do something inane, sure. Like, of course, like.
I mean, we had a prize pool last time, Charlie. So why are you saying no now?
What do you mean?
If you think it's good otherwise.
No. As a sort of like, this is not paying, not attaching anything extraneous to the idea itself. Just the idea. Do I like show matches? Do I like all-star matches? Do I think they add?
Well, of course you don't.
Not really.
If
if you want to pay these players to do it and they want to do it, sure, fine, whatever. But otherwise,
the way you go about it is you do a vote. If that player doesn't want to do it, then you fall back on the next player who wants to do it, and then you also have a prize, and you go as further as like an all-stars match. That's it.
Let me ask you. Let's say we had a volunteer format where we say we're going to run an all-stars match. If none of the players want to play, we'll have 10 like staff for whatever play, and there won't be any prize pool. But if players want to participate, we could get at least 5 of them on one team.
You better make damn sure you have time for it.
No. Like, let's say it's before the event. It's like the day 0, right? So it's not actually interfering with the event schedule. It's not at the end of a day that you hope goes short. It's just a separate day. It could be a dry run. It could be part of the day 0 testing.
Okay, sure, fine.
That's actually a pretty good idea. I'm into that.
Sure.
But what should it be volunteer? Should each team be required to put in one player? Because I feel like there's a lot of different answers to this. And the easy fucking solution as an organizer is to say, you know what? Fuck it. We're not actually going to make the players happy if we have an all-stars match. Yeah, the community might be a little bit upset, but ultimately it's just a distraction.
David,
it just adds unnecessary complications.
According to Reddit, the best match of 2014 was an all-stars match. What are you doing? You're crazy.
This is like proof that Reddit is terrible. I don't know. Come on, man.
Remember when they thought that Merlini bought your house?
Oh, well, he did.
Yeah, man. With all of his big fucking finance money, of course. He just donated that thing to you guys now. Came with the cars, right?
Just Perfect. One of his many cars. He's got a nice fleet on the street, actually.
He doesn't even need to work anymore. He's going back into pro daughter.
Yeah, he's just deciding he doesn't need the money. Oh god, that's all right. All right, so
I mean, so what I'm saying is like the easy choice as an organizer is just forget about the stretch goal part. Like I think the stretch goal part is bad for its own reason. Like making it something you have to unlock just creates this antagonistic relationship of like, well, I contributed the same amount of money. Why don't I get it? Why do I, like now? Yeah, you like leverage the community to all pitch in, so they all get the reward, or they buy.
Does that actually happen? No.
Well, it happened for
maybe
TI3.
To a minimal degree. Okay, for TI3, that's TI's fucking different, man.
It was new and it was different, but it's much better to underpromise and overdeliver, right? So it's very easy to be like, okay, this is what you get, and then. Oh, hey, by the way, here's a free bonus. Thank you for supporting our tournament. All of a sudden, people are like, free bonus? Thank you so much. I love this event. They're taking the extra step. And when really you're getting the same product. But it just creates this dynamic where people feel like, and rightfully so, they're paying for something. They unlock the stretch goal. Like they've earned it. They're entitled to it. And so it elevates their expectations, sometimes to an unrealistic level. So from an organizer point of view, fuck stretch goals. From a player point of view, fuck stretch goals unless there's a lot of money involved. And even then, some players would rather just relax. Some players don't want to have attention on them. Some players just want to focus on the event. There's never a good time to run these things either.
Not at Lance, at least.
In general, I think the agreement is like at the beginning of the event is the least awful, but it's still awful. Like that's an hour the day before the event or 2 days before the event where you could just be training with your team. You could be going over replays. You could be having a nice massage, whatever you do to get relaxed and ready for the next day. So it's just too much hassle. Like, why bother? It just creates drama.
It still blows my mind because the way the workshop works is that, okay, that person, that let's say you work with an artist, that artist gives you the set. Now that set becomes a stretch goal. Let's say the stretch goal is your top stretch goal. Colin, stop fucking typing. It's like $250,000. Let's say you don't hit that stretch goal. You've already give a portion of your ticket money away to that artist. His set's not getting in the game anymore. You're still paying that artist. Everything's fucked because all this has to be submitted before your tournament even starts. It can backfire huge, the artist gets upset because their set doesn't get in. The organizer gets upset because, people are losing out on an extra set. Like, stretch goals are a nightmare. And,
also, related to the workshop system, anyone who thinks that items automatically get in when they get attached to the tournament, I can tell you is completely wrong.
No, I can tell you from
from very personal experience that you are completely wrong. So
there is a constant battle there between tournaments and valves and items. It's a messy fucking situation.
I mean, one thing that I would say,
it's a very sad situation. We are a game dictated by hats, essentially.
But I see, the thing is, like, that's where most of the money is being spent, but I don't think it's because people only care about hats. Like, yes, a lot of people only care about hats, of course. I mean, look at the real world. People like to dress up and look nice. They want to have a car that looks good.
Look at Charlie.
I mean, you've got Charlie who wants to wear only his Express uniform. Everyone wants to look good and feel good.
I can't even say anything.
Okay, here's a personal Charlie story. We went out to dinner when they were boot camping in Boston, and he said, everything I'm wearing right now is Express. And he was proud of it. He was fucking proud of that shit. Disgusting motherfucker. That's a real thing that happened. Yeah, Charlie's having issues right now, apparently.
Got him.
Why did you choose to start Gerg during Canada Cup?
God damn it, dude. All right. The other things I want to briefly talk about in relation to the video that Peter did. I think LD already talked about a little bit about less qualifiers, but I think that there is definitely a line. Like, there is a line here.
Peter fundamentally is right.
Peter is definitely right fundamentally, yes.
Not every team should have to play qualifier for every event.
I can pull you up on this, Greg. Daughter Pit, Season 3. We do love Daughter Pit, but your qualifiers are a bit... You have 2 groups of 6 playing 2 games. 16.
Qualifiers were not ideal.
60 games per group, and only 1 team from each group gets eliminated.
Okay, but... So, that
120 games and you eliminate 2 teams.
But the playoff bracket.
Is insane.
Hey, did you look at the fucking bracket, dude? If you do not get like one of the top couple places, it's single elim because you get seeded into like it's basically it's sort of like a bubble bracket. So if you don't get like top 2 places or something,
then you have a problem with qualifying.
Charlie, this is a real discussion. But Charlie, do you need a break? Do you want to have a break, Charlie?
What the fuck just happened?
Maybe just a minute.
His webcam's pointing at the roof. Charlie,
I'm good.
Because your webcam's showing your roof right now, dude.
Guys, I finally did it. I broke Charlie. That's the only reason I come on this show anymore.
I broke Charlie.
He's actually crying.
Oh my god.
Okay, what is going on with Twitch, by the way, Charlie? You want to spill the beans there?
Well, I have no idea.
A ridiculously massive announcement going live during Twitch.
I honestly don't even know. I work for the company myself. I don't even know.
Okay,
Jesus Christ, Charlie.
At the same time, Matt, did you know the format when your team accepted the event?
The format was changing a lot. We saw.
Okay, so when you accepted, you didn't actually know.
There was no final format when we accepted, no.
Damn it, Greg.
I don't even know what we were talking about anymore.
We're talking about Dota Pit format. Dude, okay. I'm going to pull up a very poorly illustrated bracket of the format, and I'll show you. And we're not doing this now. I'll show you later. I have a hand-illustrated version of the bracket. It's disgusting.
So what you're saying is you set up something really poorly.
No. I mean, okay. Basically, the way it works out is if you don't get... I don't remember exactly how many it is, but it's at least like top 3 at the very most. I think if you don't get top 2... it basically turns into single elim in the playoffs.
I mean, I'm not singling out, Greg. All the tournaments are doing this. I mean, some are getting better. Starters qualifiers are getting better.
Well, that's not qualifiers. That's fucking group stages. That's like the bulk of the tournament. Our qualifiers were quick.
Okay, I mean, Greg makes a good point. This is an online event. The value is in like the online stage is not just.
You sit in your fucking room, you make $220,000 or whatever, half that.
Well, that's a little more antagonistic than how I would have put it, but
yeah, but I'm me, dude, and you're you, and that's the difference.
I mean, it's coming up with a fine balance. Everyone, obviously, we need enough matches to keep organizers happy and their sponsors. It's just finding a fair balance, like, and I believe we've been going in this direction well before Peter made this post anyway, or Eternal Envy. I can't remember who made the blog post about the amount of matches, but we've been going down this route anyway. Like, tournaments have already been considering changing formats and stuff anyway, and it's constantly evolving. You know, we will constantly get better formats.
I mean, I think a different, like an example for more what he's talking about is when you look at the ESL format and potentially C9 having to play through like a massive bracket. Do you think that's like acceptable?
I haven't seen the format for that.
I mean, it's basically like Dream League.
For which one?
For ESL. C9 potentially has to
be like Dream League.
Okay, well,
I mean, unless they
not
have, like,
exactly like Dream League.
So what is the deal with the ESL? Basically, if you're not a direct invite, then you get the same treatment as any other team.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that I don't particularly like, but I guess at a certain point it just makes it very complicated. Like, do you have one team who's a final boss? Do you like okay, C9 gets that like special treatment. Does Asus Polar? Does Empire? You know, okay, those three. Then what about Hellraisers? Fine. How about Navi? Like, at some point you do have to draw that line. It gets complicated, so I can totally see the ESL. I don't even know if this is their reasoning. Like, either you're an invite or you're not, and that's it. So
I mean,
I'm not even defending them. I don't even know what the reasoning was, but I could also completely understand if they choose to go that direction.
Historically, the ESL qualifiers have always been super short anyway, so I haven't seen the qualifiers for this one. But
I mean, Peter's blog is also colored by the fact that he's from America, and America is a really weird region where there's one world-class team who just won DAC, and even if you think the event was a fluke, is indisputably a top 5 team in the world, probably top 3, possibly the best.
I mean,
right now they're the best.
You win DAC, you have to be
the best. Right now you're top number 1. I mean, when I say that, I'm saying, will they win TI 5? Because that's how I think most people will evaluate if you're truly number 1.
Who fucking said no?
I said, who knows?
Oh.
I didn't say no. Go fuck yourself.
I'll say no.
Fuck you.
Fuck you too.
I mean, from their point of view, why should you have to play any qualifier, right? But I mean, it's kind of a slippery slope. For the thing that I didn't like about Peter's blog was that he basically says it's bad. Well, no, it wasn't actually his blog. It was his tweets afterwards, where he basically said, like, you want to set your event anyway, just invite us directly. Give these other teams a chance. The truth is that inviting EG in a lot of cases doesn't give other teams a chance.
It doesn't free up slots in the tournament.
It guarantees that other teams don't get a chance. Like, look at ESL. You invite EG, now you have no American qualifier, and then after some backlash, they're like, okay, American teams can play in Luxembourg.
Yeah, what the fuck is that, dude? Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. I'm not gonna lie.
That's on my list of things to talk about here. What the like? What is the point of that?
That's a new one for me, giving an entire region a middle finger.
Yeah, that's super fucked up. I'm not gonna lie. They should have just had an American qualifier. Like,
what's the point of making all the NA teams play on Lux? That's a huge disadvantage for a lot of NA teams.
Wait, so you're saying before they made that decision, they weren't going to let?
They were not. There was going to be no North American qualifier at all, nothing. And then
I don't know what their original plans were. I just know
the original plan was the original plan there was no NA qualifier at all, and people were justifiably like, what the fuck. And then he tweeted like a couple days ago that they've reconsidered and will let NA teams play on Lux. And I tweeted back at him, do they have to on Lux against the Lux teams? And he's like, yes. So it's a consolidated qualifier, which is completely ridiculous because West Coast players have over 200 on Lux. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Capitalist is here, and he says they were always intending on having the teams go through the EU qualifier.
That's even stupider. That's literally even stupider. That's the stupidest excuse I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, I agree. It's not. Well, I wouldn't say it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's true.
But maybe I've just heard a lot of stupid people. I would say it's not ideal, right? But what really just eats away at me is the only thing that really bothered me with Peter was the tweet where he's like, "You're hurting these lower teams if you don't directly invite us." Now, I think that's maybe true in like a very weird kind of world, but in terms of like your average non-TI, TI is different, right? Because TI, DAC, which is basically TI format, like end of the day of 16 teams, 18 teams, however many wildcards, competitors you want to have. But
And I'm just gonna say, capitalist, you can just read this right here and apologize. That's fine. I'll accept that. It says, we considered the decision on NA teams for Frankfurt. We will allow them to compete on Lux and qualifiers. This was 2 days ago. If Kennegan doesn't know how the qualifiers are ran, then who fucking does? This is just, it's mind-blowingly stupid. I guess
maybe he's just capitalist spokesperson. You ever thought of that?
You're right, man. I missed it, man. Fuck. I don't know. That
was my only problem with Peter's arguments. I have no problem at all with the fact that Peter wants what's best for him and his team. I think he's more than entitled to ask for it. I think, end of the day, EG is indisputably the best team, not only in America, but at minimum top 3, top 5 in the world. Like, if you played another tournament today and you bring all the top teams and whatever, universe of teams you think are the best 8 or 16, EG finishes top 3, top 5 every time, unless the format's completely retarded. So, and even if it is, they probably still do. I don't have a problem with him pushing for himself. I don't have a problem with him wanting what's best for his team. I don't like pretending like you're looking out for the common man when maybe you do care about it, but the end result of what you're pushing for is, in a lot of cases, directly hurting these teams.
Yeah, I mean, you literally take a slot out of the event. Of course you hurt them. So I agree with you, though. I completely agree with where he's coming from. I wouldn't expect him to have a different opinion. I mean,
but
pro players are playing the win.
But I do think qualifiers need to be a lot shorter. Like, well, the Summit 2 was, I don't know if it was the most egregious. It was pretty damn close. We had round robin group stage, then we had double limb bracket, and a BO5 grand finals with no advantage for, I think, every region. Yeah, I believe it was every region.
Yeah, I think
Summit 2 was really bad.
This long group stage thing just needs to go. The long group stage qualifier just needs to go. If you want a group stage, have the group stage for like lesser established teams, have that group, and then top 2 in that group go to maybe an actual bracket.
You realize that would like, you'd never be able to get sponsors with that format.
Are you getting what?
Currently, I mean, currently with the way that sponsors look at events now.
No, this is just for qualifiers. This is not for your actual event.
Anyone who runs their qualifier, like, I don't know, that qualifiers.
This is just for qualifiers.
I don't think you should. I think you should just invite more teams. To be honest, that's my personal opinion, but a lot of people disagree with that. I mean, for Dota Pit, we invited 10 out of 12 teams.
I think this is very like, whether you invite teams or not is very dependent on the format of your tournament.
I mean, it depends on, for an event like ESL, when you're only inviting, I don't even know how many teams are going. Let's say 6 teams, then, or 8 teams even. Inviting 3, I don't know. Maybe it's different for a LAN or something.
Okay, but like players do need to understand that not every event is mini TI, where the sole goal is to have, the 16 best teams in the world. And yeah, maybe Valve gives a little regional representation to each region, but like maybe you invite one extra NA or SEA team, where maybe if you actually throw all the teams in a mosh pit, one of those teams will get eliminated before someone else. But in general, I think it's like the goal for these events is simply to do what's best for their event product. So, for example, if we just wanted to make the best possible summit, we probably would have one Chinese team, and it would only be Vici Gaming, because Ice happens to speak English. Now, it's fortunate they won the summit. So Ice will probably be here, and he's really good for our event because he can interact with the Western audience. But like, if you're purely selfish and you're BTS, if you run an SEA qualifier, then you only allow teams that have an English speaker on their team to play, right? So I look at ESL. This is for ESL Frankfurt, right? As far as these invites go.
Yeah.
It's a European event. They want to have an extra European team there. It's part of their marketing angle. I don't think it's bad or wrong. Like, not every event has an obligation to the Dota community to be the most fair, demographically.
I mean, you're completely right about that, but do you really think it's in their best interest to do that? You're pissing off an entire community.
Well, no, I mean, I think maybe they could have handled it a bit differently, but I think that choice of how many European teams you have, it's probably
they could have said, like, we'll do more European teams for Frankfurt, then we'll do another event in America, and we'll have more American teams there.
I mean, they did do more. They did do more American teams, but it wasn't like there wasn't a Euro qualifier. Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine they'll do the same thing again if they do another American event.
Doubtful.
Why are you laughing?
Greg, are you mad because you're banned?
Me? I'm not mad.
Wait. I don't think people know.
I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that.
We'll just move on. We'll move on
I mean,
slowly.
I think the only person that I don't think ESL would really care, but the only person that might care is Greg.
All right, we're moving on.
So if Greg wants to talk about it,
I mean, I don't particularly want to talk about it.
all right.
All right, let's move along.
Moving along.
Sorry, Greg.
Yeah, you
Had to do it.
I mean, I think
I'm cut from the show, boys.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this is what drew you over the line. This is it. The other thing I was talking about in relation to NA teams, this is something that I know Charlie has a big opinion, or not Charlie, LD has a big opinion about. But these NA teams using like 2 EU players and then like snaking the way around qualifiers to get into specific regions. LD, thoughts?
I do think some teams are taking advantage of regions.
Cough, Tinker.
Well, no, it's not. I'm not picking
Well,
up.
I'm just gonna say this right now. Tinker is not looking to be majority, have a majority of Americans. They're only gonna have 2.
Wait, does this mean there's gonna be another Tinker change, roster change? Because like right now
Because that stupid news post thing was not entirely accurate.
oh, you mean
You mean it wasn't sponsored approved?
No, that you can ignore that entire post. You can more or less
roster then.
no.
Good luck, man. You got to redo the fucking compendium page again.
Oh, sorry, Matt. Oh my god. We'll talk about. Just talk to.
He's gonna take your team out of the compendium completely.
Yo. Do you have Phil on Skype? Just talk to Phil after. Sorry.
I'm gonna ring Phil. Never mind. Fucking. I will shout at him.
Poor Matt, man. He's had to redo this fucking compendium like 3 fucking times. Oh my god.
Oh my god, fucking jokes for the worst. Hey, they may have changed name. They're not called Water Boys, but they still have fucking shower caps because I'm not changing that.
Okay, fine. I don't give a shit. You can keep the shower. Whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Jesus, Matt, we're done
Oh
with you.
god, that's hilarious.
Done with me. I'm done with all you. Fuck you guys.
Yo, Matt, what time is it over there?
I don't
It's
even wanna
way
look.
too late.
I don't even want to look. All right. I'm about closed out on actual topics. I guess we can pull a couple quick questions from this.
Well,
thread.
I mean, if we want to, all I want to say is that there are definitely teams that are abusing regions, and I mean, the main one is just European teams abusing America as a region. Now, they may have.
Okay. So other than Tinker, who else? Who else is there?
It feels like teams haven't been doing this for a long time. I don't. That's the way I feel.
Like
Cloud9 with DAC.
Okay, yes, obviously. But okay, so Cloud9, Tinker aside, because we have talked about them. Who else?
Yeah.
Well, it's not only about abuse, though. Sometimes it's just It's not a
Give
surprise.
me an example.
It's not a surprise that all of a sudden everyone wants to play competitively and is forming a team. America is a weak region.
Okay. So
America's a weak region. Teams realize it. There will be an American qualifier because I mean Valve's not going to go from having one to not, right? So everyone's
This
like,
is a different
okay,
point,
well,
though.
So
No.
this is different. This is different. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
not. Yeah. This. So
I
explain
agree.
your point. Explain your point that like not on the.
well, this is tough for Valve,
this
right?
is-
Because as soon as you give a regional qualifier, then anyone who like thinks they have a chance is going to want to play in that region. So now you have people like, I don't have a great example offhand because I don't want to name names.
Oh,
But
come on.
I mean,
Name some fucking names, LD.
I'll name them for you right now. These are you. I asked you for an example, and you bitched out, and you dodged, and you didn't want to give examples. I'll give you the fucking example of what you're talking about. Complexity, Fire, Jimmy's team, which is, I guess, Fire now. I don't know. It's a huge clusterfuck. What's it called? That Ben's team. Fucking mad playing with Americans. Yes, I know. Yes, this is what you're talking about. Just fucking say it. Just fucking say it. Not this.
This is
other
uncensored.
bullshit.
This is Gerg Live and Uncensored. That's in the name of the show.
Greg, you just censored yourself.
I know,
like
but
30
I
times.
explained in Twitch
Shut the
chat
fuck
though.
up.
I explained in Twitch chat. It's all forgiven.
And if you ask these players, they're not even going to lie about it.
No,
of course America's
not.
a weak region. If it doesn't work, oh well, we'll go back to doing whatever else we're doing with Dota or with our lives in general. But it is a real issue, and I think that's where Valve has a tough problem before their heads. Do they not have regional qualifiers? Because they want to get every region invested in the game, right? Of course, it's great, you know, if you like target the most lucrative regions. So America's obviously particularly valuable, but you know, they could maybe not have an SEA qualifier. How much money is Valve making off of SEA? Probably not even close to how much they're making off of North America. So technically, they could be cheap, but you
Here's
know,
the thing.
it's in their interest to make Dota a global game and have as many people invested in the game emotionally as possible.
Are you actually answering these questions? You are actually answering your own Reddit.
I answered one question.
Holy shit!
I wrote no, period.
I like how he sees you fiending.
Okay.
Charlie's
Anyways,
the biggest fiend of them all.
so you brought up this issue. Like, I don't even think it's really something to talk about that much, though, because to be fair, all of those teams I just mentioned, I don't think any of them are pulling in Europeans or those Europeans are joining because they think NA is the weaker region. I think they are joining those teams because the North American scene has always had talented players. They just need certain pieces filled in. And sometimes they happen to be European. That's it. I don't actually think this is gaming the system. Yeah,
no, it is gaming the system. If these players,
I don't think they're intentionally trying to game the system. I think they're forming these rosters because they think these rosters are the best.
If they were playing in Europe, do you really think they'd bother? I don't. No chance. Maybe one or two.
If you force these teams to lock in rosters months in advance just for the qualifiers, then you know you're not going to get the best You're going to get weaker teams coming through. I feel like. I mean, you might as well let them go at it and see who can come up with the best team. At least then you have a team going to the main event who's at least won a qualifier and proved that they can at least get there to that stage of the event at least. Hey, maybe they get trashed at the main event. Maybe they do super well, but I feel like if you start regulating that part of the event, it's like a fucking Valve can't handle that anyway. So it's like it's never gonna happen.
It is a very slippery slope. I understand why it is the way it is, but it's still not really ideal. Like but
it's like
it kind of goes back to the structural issues of Dota. Having TI, it makes sense for Valve from a business point of view. Maybe not the best for the scene, but unless you're going to abolish TI, you're always going to have that discussion of should you have regional qualifiers? If not, then Valve has to run some sort of like international pre-qualifier where they fly all the teams out, put them up.
That would be really fun.
Dude,
that would be
Counter-Strike did that.
That would be fucking awesome. Let's just have them do that. That's
I might shit on ESL a lot, but
can we spend Valve's money? I mean, that would be way more fun than TI. Like these teams would be way more interesting to cast because you hardly ever see them.
I don't care what
for the average viewer, and they're just it adds like an interesting storyline.
That's Counter-Strike just did that. The Katowice event had offline qualifiers. They flew all the teams there. I mean, the event's like a month later, which is another problem, but they flew all the teams there. They played offline, and then now they have their qualified teams.
I mean, do we know if that was specifically Valve or the tournament?
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure that was ESL.
Pretty different. I mean, there's
take a shot every time LD is right. Go kill yourself.
Are you serious? I'm gonna
that's some Gerg level.
I'm gonna unmod you and ban you.
Well, I'm not gonna do your show again, Gerg. How about that?
God damn it! All right, we're gonna pull a couple questions here, and some of these are just garbage, so we're just gonna skip right through them.
I'll answer the why does EG hire people to write bad things about players?
Oh my god, dude, this is the best article I
That's actually so fucked up. I don't actually know who wrote that. Who wrote that? That's so fucked up.
Dude, that was Will.
He's such a
Will Parton. That's so fucked up. That is so fucked up.
I mean, it's also kind of true.
No, it's not true.
How do you say
it's not true at all? How are you going to say that's true? MSS is actually a great fucking player.
You're right, but he does not see the level of success that our tour. We're not talking about this. You're fucking dumb.
You go fuck yourself. That's
Gerg live and uncensored, ladies and gentlemen. You're Gerg.
Oh my god. All right, there's some actual good questions in here. Do you guys want to talk about oversaturation again? I don't really want to talk about it.
No, we're not oversaturated on the oversaturation.
In my,
I feel rather.
Oh god! All right. No, nope.
I want to hear more of what Matt has to say. Matt has barely talked this entire show.
All right.
But mostly Charlie screaming.
Because it's like 5 fucking a.m. and I'm sat here going,
man,
like, what the fuck's going on?
Q.
Matt,
Yeah.
what is going on?
All right, Matt. Here's a question for you from Reddit.
It's a secret.
Have you had what? Oh my God! What major hurdles have you had since becoming a full blown manager, and was it what you expected?
Am I a full blown manager?
I mean, you go to events and you manage them. That seems like a full blown
You-
manager to me.
you were
You're not
a
on that. You're
full-blown
not on that
manager
dirty
for
Charlie
one-
EG payroll, but you know.
What the? Shut the fuck
Can
up.
you shut the fuck up, Greg? We're trying to have a conversation. Go ahead. Thank you.
It's been fine. Like, you know, I've had a lot of different jobs in this industry. Whether you're managing a team of people in a, you know, IT office or like a group of players, obviously it's a bit more intimate with, you know, 5 players and a team, but I can handle it. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I don't forget I managed them when they're a starter as well in previous times, and you know, I've been with Secret for a fair long time now, so it's
You've been helping them for
real
quite a while.
hurdles. Like, you know, they're all just boys who want to play Dota, and I try and make that as easy as
Oh,
possible.
please never fucking say that again.
Yeah, please. I actually never want to hear the phrase "I'm just a boy trying to play some Dota 2." Never.
I'm so tired of it. Just stop. Just
I know it
fucking
winds
stop.
you up.
Nobody thinks you're cute. You're not cute. You're just obnoxious.
Holy shit! Wow, that's
Anyway,
some
I had never read
serious shit.
I had never read that.
Sorry. Sorry, man. Didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, that's fine. No, just a boy wanting to manage a team.
Oh my fucking
Oh
God.
my god.
I'm kidding.
All right, a couple more questions here. Oh God, I don't want to talk about that. All right, for Charlie, as someone who's invested not only in your current team, but apparently the longevity of the scene and your brand, do you feel like NA has enough resources to offer burgeoning players? And then essentially it says,
what does that mean? The resources?
I don't
to
know,
offer
man. I'm just reading the question.
I would like you to interpret this for me.
And dance.
Do you think there's enough money for them to play the game?
Yes.
What?
Okay.
How is that even a question?
Okay. But why? Okay. So
Look at-
Charlie, why are there not
how much
more
money
pro?
they
Why are
want.
there not less or more good NA teams?
They require. I think the biggest thing that they're lacking is experience and leadership. I think that's also the biggest thing that European teams are also lacking, and Chinese teams, and everybody right now. I think is
what a
lacking.
fucking terrible
leader.
answer. You didn't answer the question. You just said everyone has the same problem. This is about NA.
And NA's problem is bigger than the rest of them.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. That's all I wanted from you, Charlie.
Actually, I think the UK Dota scene has the biggest problem, but
UK Dota scene is non-existent.
exactly.
I mean,
That's
I
the-
think that's a problem. All right, we're gonna finish
Because we
out.
turn up at lines and just get drunk, but you know that's a different story.
I'm gonna finish out this. This is the same person that asked a question about Matt. This one's for LD. Dota Pit Season 2 has stepped up. Blah blah blah.
You're so
blah.
fucking shameless.
Sorry, I had to do that.
Greg, you've done a very good job, and by you, I mean everyone else
Oh
involved
my
with Dota
God.
Pit, but absolutely nothing to do with
Yeah, man. You're right, dude.
Travis, thank you very much for your hard work. Pip Muckle, you've done a fantastic fucking job. Trout, nicely done. And Greg, what is your job again?
Everything.
Dota Pit's done a really good job.
Pretty all-encompassing.
It's I enjoy watching it. I've watched a few games.
Oh, thanks.
I'll probably watch a few more, but not because of you, Greg.
You dropped the ball by hosting this show during Canada Cup so that Mom couldn't join though.
Oh my God. Yeah, like Mott would come on this show anyway, man. He just sit here. I'm
I do want
blaming
to
Mott right now.
though, like
Let's
when
call
you're
Mott
not running a studio and you can just do your entire broadcast out of OBS, XSplit or whatever, you have a lot more freedom. You know, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, why are you not doing 1080p 60 FPS?"
I mean, you can't do 1080 60.
Like for starter, you can't even do 1080p 60 on Twitch. If you do that, someone at Twitch is going to shout at you.
Well, no, you
And
literally
the bitrate-
can't because the bitrate the bitrate caps at 3500 and it
Yeah.
looks like shit if you do it.
Another thing is that like these hardware encoders, you can't just like throw, all right, hardware encoder, give me 900p at 60 FPS. It works on OBS, XSplit or whatever. That's software. That's a different breed of thing. But when you're running like a full studio and you're relying on your hardware encoder, you can't just start making up, the ratio and FPS. Like you have to go with, what the presets are there, or else your hardware.
Sounds like the
encoder-
excuses get on my level.
What?
There are, in all honesty, from a production point of view, there are limitations. Like there's vMix, which is pretty much the only legitimate software video mixing platform out there. But otherwise, if you're using like some Black Magic gear, 1080p 60, if you want to do that, everything has to be 1080p 60. So your cameras have to be, your computers have to be, anything else you might send it if you're
Oh
doing
my God,
your
Charlie.
Jesus Christ, dude.
You're firing
like
cannons on that fucking keyboard, dude. What's going on?
There's like keys stabbing my eardrums.
Good.
If you're doing alpha keyed overlays, then they also have to come in as 1080p 60 because the Blackmagic stuff is it only accepts one format. So if you do 1080p 60 for anything, it all has to be 1080p 60, and that's even before you get to the encoding issues, which I mean Twitch doesn't really support, mostly just because of Flash. Even if they did support it, though, most people really can't watch it. Yeah, it's literally a bandwidth issue. Most of your viewers do not have fiber. I know probably most of the people in chat have fiber, or at least decent cable internet. They're not most of the people watching these games. The average viewer is not reading Twitch chat, is not talking in Twitch chat, is certainly not posting on Reddit. They are just watching the game. I mean, unfortunately, you can't just cater to the people who have all the resources and all the money, because that's not how the platform works.
If you want 1080p 60, go buy a fucking $1 TV ticket. Watch in game, like. I'm serious.
No, I mean you're right. You're completely right.
Like that is where your experience is. That kind of, I'm just sick of seeing these fucking threads over and over going like, "Oh, why can't people do this and that?" Like when they don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about, it's useless.
If it was really that easy, do you think like we just choose not to do it?
Of course,
fuck it.
Man.
We could do better. We could do better production, but fuck you. I'm just that vindictive, or we're that lazy. It's literally a setting in XSplit. You're just choosing a menu option. Jesus Christ, people. Wake the fuck up.
All right.
Pretty much.
And then the last question from the same person to Charlie: has your water bottles per hour during DAC increased or decreased compared to TI4? Is it satisfying to have 2 less goofballs compared to Artor and Zai?
Out of all the questions you asked that one.
I asked all the questions in the fucking question, dude.
That one's so stupid, though.
Why isn't Charlie wearing a suit? No.
What? Is that even in there?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. All right. Honestly, most of these other questions. Oh my God. I'm not.
I'll answer another one. Oh my God, that actually is in there.
Oh yeah, dude. Oversaturation. I'll refresh one more time, but if there's nothing else good in here, we're gonna wrap up.
Yo, Travis can't join the call. He's done.
Well, that's on him, dude. There's a reason Pim Muckle does production now.
Wow.
Wow, that was really sorry, Travis.
That was really mean. After you just like shafted him from the show too.
I didn't shaft him from the show. It's not like he came on it before. Oh my God.
He wanted to though.
Any comment on Join Dota being inactive in casting and Toby moving to CS:GO? Oh
is that for me?
God. It's for everyone. It's just in the thing. It's in the.
Maybe it's directly to LD. I don't know.
LD.
Why is that? Am I like keeping close tabs? Oh, my Berlin agents tell me that Toby is probably in his free time actually not casting.
Yeah, you don't have Berlin agents. It's just like he has like US ones to keep tabs on you.
Okay, so what you should be asking him what I'm up to, not the other way around.
What about the restraining order? I saw that one in the other thread.
Yeah, man, where's your restraining order?
I talked about it on Toffees. Toby is a fantastic caster. He's done a lot for Dota.
Oh my God. Oh God.
He's done some stupid shit. I've done some stupid shit. Jesus Christ. Can we all just move on?
All right.
No, this is what people really want to know. Everybody knows that you're just like.
I saw Uncensored in the title.
Yeah. This is definitely censored right now.
It's fine.
I know you probe me for info. Capital.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna wrap up. Charlie, any closing remarks? Now that you've pretended to suck off someone on camera, you've had all finished up.
He really is very polished with his.
I hope someone please make a fucking.
Oh shit! Fuck! I lost. I actually just lost.
That's actually gonna be perfect.
It's like cupping the balls with like taking care of them and everything.
Oh God! All right, LD. Any closing remarks? Are you fucking? All right, cool. Matt?
I don't know why you're coming to me. I've got no remarks for you. It's
All right.
5 a.m.
What do you
on
want
Saturday.
here?
I don't know. Make fun of be yourselves. You all never
I've been myself this entire time.
So you're saying sucking dick is being yourself?
That's so funny.
All right. I thought
so
it was
fucking
all right. It was
original.
passable.
Fuck
I
you.
thought.
Look,
Shut up, Charlie. You're a fucking retard. Jesus Christ. Get
Are
him
you
off the show.
Go-
Shut it down. Show's over,
look
folks.
at yourself.
Fucking idiot.
All right. Anyone have any Charlie shout outs?
Goddamn.
Anyone you
fucking
want to thank for your wonderful success?
No, we're not doing shout outs for Charlie. Shut the
Oh, you've
Shut
already
the
asked
fucking
me.
show
All
down.
right. All right. We're done. Thank you, guys.
Go to Reddit. Reddit
Shut
has
it down.
shouts out every fucking day. Like, just go on Reddit. Don't worry about it.
If you want to know about Charlie's dick, it doesn't exist. You can't suck it.
Oh,
It's
that's
not
great.
there.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Really fucking.
Shut us
All
over,
right.
folks.
Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.